Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home.
Howdy folks, this is Dan Gross for the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight and Three Heads Brewing. Today I'm sitting down with Adrien D'Angelo.
How's it going, Dan?
The Rochester resident for the month of June, playing a different concert each Thursday. One can usually find Adrien behind some righteous board working sound someplace, often at Three Heads and other venues in town, but with us, he's exploring another side of his musicality with his usual band and some new projects as well. Adrien, thanks so much for your time, man. Cheers. Today we're drinking the 3HB Lager because sometimes you just want a beer. I'm trying not to giggle, but Jeff is so happy in the background I can't help myself. It's just so good. It's just sometimes
He's so beautiful. How could you not?
I know, it's impossible. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you a Rochester native?
I am. Yeah, I actually from Cornell. Went to high school in Pittsford, Sutherland.
Me too. What year were you?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. 2008.
Oh, you're 3 years up on me. You were in the same class as my brother.
Oh.
What's happening right now?
Wait, Jake?
Yeah.
No crap.
Me. Yeah. Giant, the big red beard.
Wow. Yeah.
We'll have to bleep that, but I don't care.
No. Oh, I can't swear.
I mean, no. That was our one. We reached our quota.
Cool. We reached our quota right now.
Well, look at that.
Wow,
That's hilarious.
Brother. We were friends in high school.
What's happening right now? Okay,
we'll become best friends?
We'll do this later because we have to talk music. So we chatted a little bit before. You had a bit of a circuitous road in college. You worked for the radio station at one point. You had an English major. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your musical background?
So I started to take private piano lessons when I was like 8. I got a keyboard for Christmas one year.
Yeah.
And I had a piano teacher, Steve Copeland, who lived right across the street from me in Cornell. And so I just started taking like classical piano, just kind of learning stuff like that. And I had my first recital much later, like years later, totally bombed it. Was totally nervous and couldn't handle myself at all. And so after that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick up something a little cooler, something that's gonna make me feel cooler.
Right.
I picked up bass guitar.
Right.
And pretty much, I played that kind of on and off for a while until I discovered a couple musicians who are still musicians in the area, like Brendan Caroselli.
Yeah.
Mainly was like a huge influence on me because we got in a band together.
Yeah.
And he taught me a lot about music and stuff like that. And so from there, I just kind of like, it took off and I couldn't stop playing. And I just needed to do it, and I needed it in my life.
Right.
And it was just something that was necessary.
And it's been the driving force.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us about some of your influences? What were some stuff you were listening to when you were younger?
Oh, geez. Well, starting off from like, my parents always played kind of like classic rock and stuff like that. I listened to the radio a lot. And it wasn't until like high school they started listening to like reggae and a few different like genres of music, like outside of just what you hear, normally. And I got kind of shown reggae and jazz, and I watched anime a little bit. I don't know if you know Cowboy Bebop.
Who doesn't? I'm sorry. Who doesn't know Cowboy Bebop?
And so I got into like bebop jazz and stuff like that. And since then, I don't know. I keep trying to branch out and try to listen to new things all the time. Yeah. But I do like electronic music too. I got really into it in college as well.
Yeah, and
we threw a lot of crazy parties where that was, the cursor.
Right, the inside of Adrien D'Angelo's college life right here.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on.
You're from MTV, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm totally.
I'm glad I showed up for this.
I'm totally MTV. I wanted to touch on a couple things. So we mentioned your diverse musical and college background. So how did you end up working sound and kind of being a sound guy?
Oh, I was in college. I was in this band, the Venture Pilots, and we were playing on the college campus. I went to University of Buffalo, And there was this guy doing sound for us, and I was like, I want your job. And he goes,
Was he good at it, or was he still garbage that you wanted to take over?
I mean, it was like, I didn't even know at the time. I wasn't paying attention to that world, but I was like, I want that job. And he goes, well, they're hiring right now. And I was like, so I went, fill out an application. It was like the last day too.
Yeah.
And I started doing sound through that, and it was mostly just setting up for DJs and like events for student clubs and stuff like that. And then I met my friend Andy Borchik, who and we got to know each other through my best friend in the world, Steph O'Brien. And then he was like, there's this thing called Sterling. It's like this festival, and you might really enjoy coming out to this festival and learning about sound. And so I went out there and hung out with a bunch of hippies in the woods and did sound. And I had this mentor.
Did
Mike
sound,
Richards.
is that a euphemism for something?
I mean, it can be.
Okay, just checking.
I'm still early on in this beer, but by the end of this interview, it might be a euphemism for something. So yeah, it was. I got to meet kind of like the mentor who showed me a lot about how production works behind the scenes and having to mix 12 bands a day and load-ins and load-outs and wiring and signal processing.
All the ins and outs you need.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to put you on the spot.
Is that a euphemism for something?
I mean, it could be later in this beer. I want to put you on the spot just a little bit. Your console has provided a lot of great field recordings for the Rochester Residency shows, even though Hakeem's been working the board, so I wanted to thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing, you are well respected in this town as a sound engineer. You went on a little mini tour with Vanishing Sun as their front of house manager.
I did.
And if you want to just pass on one tip to any aspiring sound engineer, or like one thing that you do that gives you that special touch, now's your time.
I'd say just like your job and care about the music. I think that's
and
the main
everything
thing.
will take care of itself.
Yeah, like I've worked with a lot of sound guys who they're jaded and they just really don't care about what they're doing. It becomes just more of a menial job, and it's like these guys look like they're working behind a counter at a convenience store instead of like having a really exciting, job and life and career. And it's when you love it, everything just becomes that much better.
I hear. So let's move on to your Rochester Residency shows. You're doing 4 for us. We have Eli Flynn and the Everymen on June 7th, Dree and Friends on the 14th, Kodachrome. We'll talk about that, of course, on the 21st, and then Subsoil on the 28th. So let's just go down the line here. Can you tell us about the Eli Flynn and the Everymen show?
Yeah, so Eli is actually also a bartender at Three Heads Brewing. He's a good friend of mine.
Did he can this? No.
He didn't can this not this batch specifically. But
anyways, he's a friend of yours.
Yeah, he's a good friend, and he is a really talented singer-songwriter.
Yep.
And we actually got to shoot a music video. My dad was a franchisee of Abbott's for a bit and owned an Abbott's. We got to shoot a music video inside of that Abbott's store. And if you watch it, it's pretty funny actually. There's a point where he was laying down on the counter and he had whipped cream on his eyes, and we were pouring sprinkles on him. That was probably the most fun part to shoot. So there's just sprinkles coming at him. It's a really funny video, and it's about basically the idea is that he's just living in this Abbott's. He's waking up in the cooler every day and going to brush his teeth and going to work. But he's like, his music is very poppy, but it has a lot of depth and sense.
Right.
And the way he writes music is really tasteful and colorful, and I like it a lot. So that's gonna be fun. We're actually gonna start off doing a duo set as well. It would just me and him to start out, and then we'll bring the whole band up. Can
you tell us everyone in the Everymen?
So we have myself, Eli Flynn, and then Jamie Green is on drums, and we have Michael Corey, who basically plays guitar and keyboards.
Got it. Let's move on to week 2. Most of the residents have had this. We're sort of a resident and friend show. Can you tell us about Dree and Friends on the 14th?
Yeah, that's just going to basically be, I'm just going to bring some people up and kind of showcase what's going on. I don't want to give too much away. I want to have some surprises.
Of course.
And but it's, there's going to be a little bit of improv. There's going to be some stuff that's just going to, some of my friends, and we're going to have covers planned that we're going to do, but a lot of it's going to be improvisational. I'm trying to plan for some surprise to happen if people are willing to go and do that and come out and make it happen.
Awesome.
And so yeah, that's about it.
I won't make any promises, but if you see a giant white sousaphone walking the door, that'll be me. Continuing on.
Yeah, you're welcome to play with us if you want.
Moving on to week 3, we have Kodachrome, your tribute to Paul Simon. Of course, very aptly named Kodachrome, a little nod to the Kodak film. Can you tell us about that show?
Right. So this is actually, the cool part about it, I think, is it's the first time I'm actually not playing bass. I actually have Tim playing bass for this one, Tim Braley, and I'm going to be basically lead.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to embody Paul Simon. And I'm going through the years. I had the idea of doing, an album itself, but I'm just so in love with a lot of the older music and a lot of the Simon and Garfunkel, and I really couldn't choose any specific album that I wanted to do.
Right.
And so we're going to do a lot of stuff just from his solo work and also from Simon and Garfunkel years all the way through One Trick Pony and the self-titled. And
yeah, so it's kind of like, it's a retrospective.
Sure, yeah.
Looking back on everything he's done. And then wrapping up, you have Subsoil. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Subsoil is basically this hip-hop outfit in Rochester that's been here for the past 10 years. It's basically running on our 10-year anniversary as a band. Wow. I've been in the band for about 3.5 years. And Mooney and Laz are the cartoon characters of rap. And they get up and we back them up with a live band. There's drums, bass, guitar, and keys, and saxophone. Yeah. And it's a really fun time. I don't know how else to explain it. It's kind of like circus style hip hop meets funk meets
I don't want to pigeonhole you guys or compare you to someone else, but just so people know what to expect, is it something kind of like Gorillaz? Is it sort of in that vein? Did I say something dirty there? Or is it
No, I love the Gorillaz.
Yeah,
I absolutely love Gorillaz. It kind of, yeah, actually. I could see, with their newer stuff, yeah, I could kind of see that.
Sounds good.
Mooney always says to, mention Outkast, like the early Outkast especially, that kind of experimental form of hip hop. But they're wordsmiths, and I will follow them to the end of the earth. I had to look in the camera to say that. You can't tell I was doing that. Just for Mooney.
That's the close of doing that one.
I will follow you to the end of the earth, Mooney.
Adrien, thank you so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it. You can catch Adrien every Thursday in the month of June playing 4 great and different concerts each week. The first one, Eli, Flynn, and the Everymen, and of course Eli is also the resident in the month of July as well. Dree and Friends on the 14th, Kodachrome on the 21st, and Subsoil on the 28th. I'm Dan Gross. Thank you so much for watching this installment of The Spotlight Meets the Rochester Residency, and we hope to see you out there.
Problem is all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy once you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. She said it's really not my habit to intrude. Furthermore, I hope my meaning won't be lost or misconstrued. But I'll repeat myself. At the risk of seeming crude, there must be 50 ways to leave your lover. 50 ways to leave your lover. Slip out the bag, Jack. Make new plans, Stan. You don't need to be coy, Roy. Listen to me. Hop on the bus, Gus. You don't need to discuss much. Oh, drop off that key, Lee. Get yourself free. Slip out the bag, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. Don't need to be coy, Roy. Listen to me. Hop on the bus, Gus. You don't need to discuss much. Oh, drop off that key, Lee. Get yourself free. She said it grieves me so to see you in such pain. Wish there was something I could do to make you smile again. Said I appreciate that. But now would you please explain about the 50 ways? She said, why don't we both just sleep on it tonight? And I believe that in the morning you'll begin to see the light. Then she kissed me, and I realized she probably was right. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. 50 ways to leave your lover. Slip out the bag, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. No need to be coy, Roy. Listen to me. Hop on the bus, cause you don't need to discuss much. Drop off the key, leave. Get yourself free. Don't slip out the bag, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. You don't need to be coy, Roy. Listen to me. Bars, cause you don't need to discuss much. Drop off the key, leave, and get yourself free.